Hi everyone, Dennis Foley from Acoustic Fields. Today we're going to talk about voicing your room. It's kind of a weird set of words, voicing your room, but we all know, and have heard these terms before. We want to make our room work for what we're trying to do musically, vocally, whatever our usage is. We're trying to get the room to work with our usage. And we all know from past videos that size, volume, treatment, all of these issues are important. So let's just kind of break down some of those issues in the voicing process and look at them. First issue we have is direct versus reflected energy. So we have sources, and our sources are speakers, voice, instrument, whatever the sound generating source is. We're always going to have, and I mean always, without exception, a balance between direct versus reflected energy. So if we have a speaker, we're going to have the direct energy to the listening position, right? Okay, and then we're going to have all the reflections within the room. So if we're working in rooms, we're always going to have that direct versus reflected energy balance. And that's critical to our usage, and it's critical to what we're doing in there. Too much reflected energy at the microphone position leads to too much room sound. Not enough direct energy leads to a weak source and no impact on vocals if you're in a voice room. So it's always a balancing act between direct versus reflected energy. And we have to remember that our sources are the source, so to speak, of the direct energy. So what do we have for room sound? Well, our room is the worst nightmare because it has all of these issues. It has reverberation time. We put energy in it and then we have to sit, cross our arms, tap our feet, so to speak, wait for the energy to decline so that we can add more energy. And this is an oscillating type of situation. Fundamentals, harmonics, everything living and dying, so to speak, on its own volition with minimum impact by the room. So we have pressure issues because of our boundary surfaces, our size and volume. We have comb filtering. We have all kinds of issues in the room. We've done many videos on the room impact. So voicing your room is a process where we take the direct energy and the reflected energy from the room, the direct energy from our source and the reflected energy from our room, and achieve a balance. And that's the critical part. Some people, some rooms do it way better than others. That's the difference between good and bad rooms. If you walk into a room and you go, wow, this is really a good room, it's because they've taken that direct versus reflected energy ratio into consideration. What are our treatment options? The standard two. I wish I could think of a third, but there aren't any. We'll have to go to another planet. So we have absorption and diffusion. And here's something that we really have to be careful of when we're voicing our rooms, no matter what the usage is. The rate and level of absorption is critical. There's a lot of information, a lot of misinformation in the literature where just use building insulation, just use foam, just use blankets, egg cartons. So the bottom line here is rate and level is critical. There is no one sound absorption rate and level that works for every usage. They're all different. Sidewall reflections need different time signature managements in control rooms versus listening rooms. They need different time signature management in vocal rooms versus control rooms. Everything is different. So having a sound absorption technology with predictable rates and levels of absorption is critical. Knowing what rate level to match to usage is even more critical. Once again, the difference between a good and a bad room is somebody knew what they were doing with rates and levels. Usage, usage, usage. Just like real estate, location, location, location. Usage, usage, usage when you're voicing your room. You have to take all of that into consideration. Direct versus reflected. Proper treatment. Manage the issues and you'll get a room that sounds and matches what you're trying to accomplish. Thank you. Thank you for watching our videos. We really appreciate your support, and if you could give us a thumbs up for our Facebook page, that would really be helpful to us. Our room form gives us all the information about your room, length, width, height, usage, and we need you to fill that out before you send it in. Those of you that just found us on the internet and are under a time crunch, you can go to the contact section of our website, and there's a book now button, so you can book an appointment with us, but make sure I have your room form to go on with it. The ebook series that we have is free. Please subscribe to that. There's exclusive videos in there, so you can get an idea of your particular situation, possibly with the videos. And then our forum. We have a forum on our website. There's a lot of forums out there on the internet. Our forum I'll actually answer your questions and comments, so you'll be dealing directly with me through our forum. So once again, thank you for your support.